So I'm happy to announce that Sofa 3.0 is now live. So over the past few months, I've been slowly documenting my progress for creating Sofa 3.0. And if you have any interest in watching that progress up until this point, I'll link a playlist to all the videos that I've made so far, so you can watch that. This video is going to be the comprehensive, here's everything that's new in Sofa. From the big features, the little features, any small little tweaks and changes. So if you haven't watched anything up until this point, that's fine. You can just watch this video. It'll have everything that's new in here, and I'll be talking about that. For those of you who like to skip around, there will be chapter markers linked below, so you can jump to the part that you want to see. So let's go. The main thing is Super Sofa. So this is the pro in quotes version of Sofa, and it is subscription based. And what it does is it gives you some additional features that the free version does not. So let's get into that. The first thing you'll see is a personal and a family plan. So if you just have an account just for you, you can use a personal plan, or if you have family sharing through your iTunes account, you can do a family plan as well and share the Super Sofa subscription with up to 5 people in your family sharing plan. Now, what you get for Super Sofa is sticky notes, stats and filters for your activity, the shelf, enhanced details, get access to all themes. There's over 70 themes currently, and I'm going to be adding more. And then any future features that get added, you will get access to those as well. For those of you who do not care to pay for Super Sofa and don't need all those extra features, that is completely fine. A vast majority of the app is still free. And how you've been using it so far up until this point is still free, which is really great. So you still get access to iCloud syncing, you get basic activity and details, you get to search for everything, you have the pile, you can create as many lists as you want, you can add as many things to those lists as you want. So the idea here is not to bait and switch people, it's really to say, well, here's still a great free experience, but if you want some more powerful features, that's something that you can pay for. So now that I've given you an overview of what Super Sofa is, let's get into each feature individually. So the first thing is sticky notes. So a sticky note is just a way to write a really short, brief little note to yourself. Let me show you an example. So in the pile, I have a few things here. And this one, high on the hog. So this was recommended by my friend John. Now, I added this a few days ago when I talked to him on the phone. By the time I get back to this, if I had not written a note, I may forget the context of why I added this, who recommended it to me, that kind of thing. So knowing that, hey, John recommended this to me, and he usually recommends good stuff, this is definitely something I want to watch at some point. And from here, I can put it into a list, or I can just kind of watch it right away. So that's one instance. Another is, in the activity, if you want to, let's say you've finished a game, right? Like I just finished Last of Us Part 2. And I can essentially just write a tiny little review for myself so I can remember what I felt at the end of finishing that game, right? And you can do that for movies, for books, for podcasts, that kind of stuff. So I think this is a really nice, simple way to add little notes to yourself, little reminders, that kind of stuff. So let me show you how a sticky note works. So let's say that I wanted to add a sticky note for Foundation here. So I have the option to just start writing a sticky note here. And then I can say, saw this on Twitter and it looks really good, right? Just like that. Can't really spell. And then you just hit save and then boom, there's your little sticky. You can also do the same thing from the detail pages here. If you want, you can access the same sticky note, or you can just tap on the sticky note just like that. So sticky notes are super easy, very handy, and actually having them visible throughout the list is pretty helpful because you can kind of like read them before you actually click on them. Anyway, sticky notes are pretty cool. Now let's look at stats and filters. So when you go to activity, you'll notice that activity is improved here. Before it was just one flat list, and now it's grouped by the date, the month, and the year. So you get a much more logical grouping of the information as you're kind of going through that stuff, which is nice. Now, you have the option with Super Sofa to show your stats and filters. So when you do this, this will show you just high level, here's all the movies you've added to activity, TV shows, books, anything that you've added here across all the different data types will show up, which is really nice. Now, the cool stuff you can do with this is, by default, it's showing everything. So all years and all types, but now you can start to filter this. So I can say, show me 2020. So now I can see 2020, how I did. So I watched 36 movies in 2020, 23 TV shows, a lot of TV time in 2020. Read 4 books, that kind of thing. So you can see my reading time definitely did not do super well. Now, if you wanted to see how this spreads out across a specific data type, you can say, okay, so now we're in 2020, just show me TV shows. And now what this does, this filters your list here, so this will only show you the TV shows in 2020. And it counts them across each month. So you can see where there's certain months where you watched a lot, certain months where you watched a little, that kind of thing. So November, we didn't finish any TV shows. We were definitely watching TV. But this is a really nice way to quickly filter stuff, which is pretty nice. And you can say, show me TV shows across all years. So now you can see how your TV watching or book reading, right? So if I want to switch this to books, I can see that, okay, so 2019, 17 books. So I was doing well for like 3 years, and then I just kind of tanked it. But really nice way to start filtering your information and get, just learn a little bit more about how you are spending your downtime. Now, along with this, you can also search. So you can say The Office. So then you can see all the times that you watched a certain show, read a certain book, played a certain video game, that kind of thing. So this is a very, very handy thing that I have used constantly since I built it. So now let's take a look at the shelf. So the idea here is that collecting things and capturing stuff is kind of one part of your workflow with Sofa. But the other part is going through your list and either finding a book you want to read, a video game you want to play, a podcast you want to listen to, that kind of thing. And if you're someone who likes to keep a lot of lists that are broken up into very specific categories for different reasons, sometimes it can be a little difficult to go through all of this stuff to figure out something that you want to do and how you want to spend your time. The idea with the shelf is that it helps you prioritize stuff, and it's a quick way of doing that. So let's go through a specific workflow here. So if I go to my list of action movies, now this is just one list of stuff, and I'm kind of like, I'm trying to figure out what I want to watch, right? So I may go between a few different lists here. So let's say that I'm like, you know what? I really want to watch, I kind of want to watch this, so I can click on this and say put on the shelf. And what this does is you see it adds it to a little shelf section at the top. And what I can do is I can add a couple things here, right? So I can say, you know what? I want to put this on the shelf. I want to put this on the shelf. All right, that's good. And now I have a few things on the shelf. That's great. Now within one list, that may not be as useful. Maybe it is if it's a really big list. But now let's go to, maybe some classics, because again, I'm trying to figure out what I want to watch. So let's say, okay, maybe Taxi Driver. I'm gonna put that on the shelf. I'm gonna put this on the shelf, right? So as you can see, now I have shelf items here as well, right? So I have two different lists with shelf items inside each of them. Now the benefit of the shelf here is that this now aggregates everything that's been put on the shelf across all of your lists. which is very handy. So again, if that workflow, you're trying to figure out like, oh, what kind of book do I want to read next, or what movie do I want to watch, that kind of thing. So if you go through your list and add things to the shelf, you can come here and now you just have a single place that aggregates all that stuff together. And from here, you can make a decision what you want to do. And if you come back here, you can see like, okay, maybe I do want to watch this, but you know, what else is in this list I want to see? Okay, no, that's fine, right? So again, it's really trying to understand the workflow that we all kind of go through of figuring out how we want to spend our downtime and making that more logical. So now let's talk about enhanced details. One of the decisions I made, and this is not just my opinion, but talking to people and learning, is that we don't need that much information when we're trying to figure out, you know, do I want to watch this? Do I want to read this? Do I want to play this? It's really about just enough information and showing just enough information. So Sofa's detail pages, when you're looking at specific things, are always going to be much more sparse than other options out there, and that's very intentional. A lot of that information can be overwhelming and just not useful, and it's just not what you're looking for in those specific workflows. But enhanced details there are some things that really do help in the process of deciding what you want to do and how you want to spend your downtime. And one of those things is links for where something is or where you can go enjoy that thing, right? Because it's not like you're watching stuff inside of Sofa. That's not how it works. So now with Super Sofa, depending on the data type, it will provide links to specific things. So if you're looking at an app, it has a link to the App Store or the developer website. For you know, board games, depending on what you have here, it'll link to Board Game Atlas, which is the service, the data provider for board games. For books, this will link to Apple Books. And I know people are going to say, well, what about Amazon? I would love to do that. The tricky thing is that for book data, I'm using iTunes, which strangely does not return the ISBN number. So there's no way for me to link an iTunes book anywhere else. It just sadly wouldn't work. So for now, it's just linking to Apple iBooks, or Apple Books now. But I would love to figure that out at some point in the future. I'm going to skip that for a second. So for music, what has been requested here is like, oh, Apple Music's one, but what about like Spotify, Pandora, all the other services? So if the specific album is on those other services, you will now see those links, which is super nice if you use those other apps. For podcast, you will be able to see all of these in your podcast player of choice. It'll jump to those, which is really nice. Now, you're probably thinking about movies and shows at this point and saying, oh, it would be great if you could see which streaming service a certain movie or show is on. I agree, it would be great. For now, it's not there. It is possible, but it's actually very expensive to get access to that data. This is one of the reasons why Super Sofa is going to exist, so that I can afford to pay for those very nice features that everyone would love and I would love. So if you want features like that, maybe subscribe. Help a friend out. Now the last thing you get with Super Sofa is access to all themes included. Usually you have to buy each theme individually for either 99 cents or $1.99. But now with Super Sofa, you just get access to all of them and any new ones that I add as well. And to get to that, you just hit the menu option here and you go to themes. And then you can browse all your themes and you'll be able to apply them, do whatever you want to do, see all that good stuff. Honestly, if you bought every theme, you would spend over $100. So if you just get a yearly subscription to Super Sofa, it's way cheaper. Do that. All right, so now we're getting into some of these smaller updates that are available for everyone, regardless of whether you've gotten Super Sofa. The first one is what I call Easy Search. Now, I need to kind of walk through this for a second. previously, when you would hit the add button down here at the bottom, you would always get this menu, and you have to decide what type of thing you want to search for and then go search for it and add it. And it was just this annoying thing that would come up. And the idea here is that while you mostly will create lists of the same type of thing, so a list of books you want to read, a list of movies, that kind of stuff, you can just make lists that have anything in there. And I wanted to always keep that option available to people. So let's walk through this. I'm going to make a new list, and I'm just going to call this test. I'm going to create it. Now I have an empty list. Excellent. So now if I hit this, I don't know what you want to add at this point, so you have to kind of pick what you want. So let's say I want to add a movie, right? So I'll type game, and we'll do imitation game. Okay, excellent. So now I've added a movie. Now at this point, what Sofa is going to do next is say, okay, you've added a movie, so I'm going to assume next time that you want to add another movie. And it does. So now you don't have to pick the thing you want to search for. It'll just look at the most common data type within your list and make the assumption that that's the thing you want to add. So now I can add something else. Actually, let's say that from here, I'm like, oh, I actually wanted to add a video game. So let's do Last of Us, and I'll add that. So now I have a list of one video game and one movie. So at this point, Sofa doesn't know what you want to do. So it's going to say, all right, please tell me what you want to add. And at this point, let's say I want to do another movie. And I'll type in snow. Let's see what comes up with snow. Snow White and the Huntsman. Okay, boom. So now I have two movies and a video game. Now when I do this, it's going to search movies. So again, this is the most common workflow, and this may seem kind of obvious and simple, and that's kind of the idea. But the amount of friction this removes as you're trying to create lists and add things to it very quickly is very nice. Now, the other thing that's a part of this, it's not just being able to assume what you want to add, but there is now the ability to add multiple things at one time. So let's say that I want to add all of the Harry Potter books, right? So I'm going to switch this to books, and you'll notice down here that it says quick add. And what I can do is I can change this, and this is changing the search mode to multi-add. I'll do Harry Potter. And now I can just add each one of these as I go down. Boom, right? I can add all the things that I need to within this list, then just hit done, and they're all there. Nice. For the eagle eye folks out there, you may have been noticing a search bar in various places. I already showed you that the activity one, but you'll see there's search here, and then when you go into a specific list, there's also search within that list, which is nice. This is also another like, yeah, why didn't this have search before? And it's like, yeah, well, it didn't, okay? That's how it works. Anyway, what's really nice about searching all your stuff is it searches all your stuff. So this will search across all your lists, activity, and like I said, it'll also search notes. So if you remember, I had a note with my friend John. I can type in John and look. There it is right there. That's the thing that he recommended. You'll see here's another thing he recommended. So what's really nice about this is as you search for different things, so if I do like game, so it'll search specific items from my list and I can see which list that's in. It'll search actual lists themselves. So I can see, oh, this is my board game list, this is my video game list, and then anything in your activity as well. So again, you can search within those specific areas. So if I just want to go to a list and search in there, that's fine. Or if I just want to go to activity and search, that's fine. Or you can use this new global search, which will search everything that you have in your Sofa app. So the next thing is deep links everywhere. So I've been adding deep links to multiple parts of the app where it makes sense. And this is just a really nice way to add a little bit of power and automation to Sofa. I can go to a specific item here and I can copy the deep link. I can paste that wherever I want to. If I'm going to put that inside of a note somewhere, or inside of a task somewhere, or inside of a Siri shortcut, something like that. So you can do that with items here. Excuse me, you can deep link to a specific list, which is nice. Same thing with activity. So you can deep link to a specific item within your activity and it'll take you right to there, which is nice. And if you have, let's say you've made a little filter here for activity. I don't have any audiobooks there. Let's do books. You have two options. So you can copy a deep link directly to just activity, just the default view for activity. Or if you have put together some filters here, you can copy a deep link with those filters applied. So if I did this, and then I deep link back into the app, it would have these filters applied to it right then and there. So those are all the new goodies that's part of Sofa 3.0. I'm really happy with this. I use this thing all the time. I love it. I hope you love it as much as I do. And I really want to give a special thank you to everyone who has beta tested this. We had such a nice group of people who willingly beta tested this stuff, provided tons of feedback, helped to find bugs and making it more stable for you and for whoever's going to use it afterwards. So thank you to everyone who participated in that, and hopefully we can do it again in the future because it was really nice. So if you want to get the app, I have it linked below, or you can just go to the App Store and type in Sofa. It should be the top result, hopefully. And let me know what you think. I'm excited. Go get it. Bye.